By the end of this video, you'll be mining crypto on your very own computer, even if it's a laptop that was made 10 years ago. All you have to do is follow these simple steps and also subscribe to know when I post more tech videos. Once we're actually mining the crypto, I'll explain certain aspects in more detail. Timestamps in the description for that. The first thing you want to do is open your browser and go to MoneroOcean.stream, link in the description. From here, you're going to click on Help in the bottom right, then Install Mining Software and XMRig. That's the mining software we're going to be using. The link will take us to a GitHub page. From here, scroll down until you see assets, then find the download for your operating system. I'm on Windows, so I'm using this one. If you're on Linux, it's going to be one of these two. And if you're a Fruit user, it's going to be one of these two. Click on the one for your operating system. Save it to wherever you want. And now, if your browser marks it as suspicious, don't worry, that is completely normal. The nature of mining software is very similar to that of actual viruses, but don't worry, this is completely safe. Click on download suspicious file. I know it sounds bad, but don't worry. And then we will come back to it later. The next thing you need is a crypto wallet to actually be able to receive your payouts. If you already have a wallet that supports Monero, that's the crypto we're mining, then you're set. But if you don't have one, then I would recommend Exodus because it has great UI design and lots of features. Link in the description. Once you're on the website, click on download Exodus, and select your operating system. But no matter what wallet you choose to use, the general setup process is always the same. Run the installer, go through the setup process, and then eventually it will ask you to create a wallet. At that point, you will get a passphrase, which is a long string of random words. Do not lose that. That is pretty much the password to your wallet. And if you lose it, you lose all the crypto on your wallet. So don't do that. Once your wallet is set up, find Monero, click on it. Then you want to find your public key, which is a long string of text which other people will use to send you crypto. To find it, either click on receive, or sometimes there will be a downwards facing arrow like that. Then once you're at your public key, copy it because we'll need it for later. Now head to your downloads, extract the folder that we downloaded earlier. Then I'm going to open this extracted folder and I'm going to put this folder on my desktop. But you can put it anywhere you want to. Now this folder here contains all of our mining software. If you're on Windows, you should see what I have. But if you're on Linux, you might only have 3 files. And if that's the case, don't worry, that's normal. And once again, if you're a Fruit user, well, I don't know, you'll probably be fine. What we're going to do now is open the config.json file. You may need to select an app to open it with. You can use Notepad or anything really. And in this file, we need to change only 3 things. The first thing is just to save a bit of memory. You're going to find huge pages under CPU. You can also search for it with Control F or Command F on Mac. And what you're going to do here is set it to be false. The next 2 things are next to each other. Scroll down until you find pools. You can also search for URL or user. The user is just our wallet's public key. So you can paste that in here from earlier. But make sure that it's in between the 2 quotes. And finally, to get the URL, we're going to head back to MoneroOcean. Then you're going to click on Configure Settings, and then copy this address here and paste it straight into the URL. Now, if you would consider your CPU to be absolute trash, then replace the 10128 with 10032. But it's not going to make much of a difference, so don't worry too much about that. And we're done with this file, so you can save and close out of it, and our mining software is now ready. Before we start mining though, you may want to disable your antivirus because otherwise it may end up deleting these files. But once again, this process is completely safe and you don't have to worry about malware. Now, if you're on Windows, to start mining, all you have to do is double click this xmrig.exe, but it does tend to run a little better if you right click and click on Run as Administrator. If you get a pop-up like this, again, just click on More Info and run anyway. And there we go, our miner is now running. To run your miner on Linux, what you want to do is open your terminal in the miner directory, then type sudo space /xmrig, and then click enter, and put in your password if needed. And once again, if you're a Fruit user, unlucky for you, I'm sure you can figure it out. Now, one last thing though, real quick. We're going to decrease our minimum payout amount so that we get paid out more frequently. Just remember though, it doesn't mean we'll earn more, it just means we'll receive it more often. Now to do this, you're going to head back to MoneroOcean, click on Home in the bottom right. Then you're going to paste your wallet address from earlier, click enter. Then you're going to click here. Then you're going to change this value to be 0.003. That is the minimum amount, and I already had it set to that. Once you've changed it, make sure you click Update Threshold. Now I'm going to discuss certain aspects in more detail in case you guys are curious. I'll explain why we're mining Monero specifically, what is MoneroOcean, then I'll talk about how feasible mining like this really is, and whether or not it's worth it. Then I'll show you the keyboard commands of the mining software, and finally I'll show you a quick trick to increase your mining rate and earn more. So first of all, why are we mining Monero specifically? Well, Monero is a very special cryptocurrency because the algorithm required to mine it, which is random X, makes it that you can only use a CPU to mine the crypto. You can't use a GPU or an ASIC miner, which is what people use to mine Bitcoin. And because those things are much faster than a CPU, it means that mining Bitcoin with a CPU would be useless. But because we have to use a CPU, it means that anybody with a CPU can mine Monero, even on your super trashy 2012 laptop. Now, what is MoneroOcean? When anybody starts off mining, they have two options. Either they mine solo or they mine with a group of people. If you choose to mine solo, you will rarely ever get rewards, but when you do, the amount that you get will be very high. On the other hand, if you choose to mine with a group of other people, you will much more frequently get rewards, but they will be of a much smaller amount. In this video, we are mining with a group of other people called a mining pool, and of course our mining pool is called MoneroOcean. And so because we're mining with a lot of other people, we will earn payouts more frequently. But that also means they'll be of a much smaller amount, especially since most of us are using pretty trashy CPUs. And the reason I chose MoneroOcean for this video is because it's really great for beginners and it's got a very low minimum payout. Most other mining pools have a much higher minimum payout, which means you would have to wait a lot longer before you actually receive any crypto. Next, I want to talk about feasibility. Now, the cool thing about MoneroOcean is that it actually shows you your mining rates, and it has a built-in calculator for how much you're going to earn. So hop onto MoneroOcean, and then in this little box here, it's going to be blank. Paste in your public key, then hit enter, and it's going to load all of your mining stats, including your current hash rate. Your hash rate is the number of calculations, that your computer does every second when mining. So if you have 1,000 hashes per second, or a kilohash per second, that's the same thing, then that means your computer's doing 1,000 calculations every second. Now I'm currently mining on my other computer over there, and so my current hash rate is about 620 hashes per second. So to work out how much you're going to earn from your hash rate, take the hash rate that is displayed here and type it into this little box here. So mine is about 620. Make sure the units are correct. Mine's hashes per second, or you can use kilohashes. And as you can see, it's going to display how much Monero you're going to make per day, per week, per month, or per year. Now, obviously, it's not that much. You're mining on your work computer or whatever the case may be. But with that said, if you were to leave it on consistently for a few months, you would still make something. I've made about 80 Rand, that's my currency here in South Africa, and that's something. I can use it for stuff. So the payouts are low, but if you leave it mining consistently, you can make something. And if you have more old computers lying around, you can make all of them mine, and that way you could double, triple, or even quadruple your earnings. But if you're still really unhappy with your current hash rate, then watch to the end of the video because I will show you a way to increase your mining rate. Then the other thing to look at is electrical costs, since mining does use a little bit more electricity than usual. But for the most part, that's only something you have to worry about if you're mining with GPUs or ASIC miners. Those things chow electricity, whereas CPU mining, I haven't even had to worry about it so far. But if you are interested in how much electricity mining like this will use, then you can work it out using your CPU specs, or you can go online and buy one of those plugs that shows how much electricity has been used through that certain port. Then you plug your computer into it, and it'll show you how much electricity your computer has been using. Now, very quickly, I'm going to show you all the commands that you can use with the miner. It's not very many. Probably the most useful one is clicking H. That will show you your current hash rate. I explained what that is in the feasibility section. If you click on C, it shows your current connection, including how long you've been connected for or how long you've been mining for. Then the next one is if you click P, it just pauses, which means it will stop using your CPU in case you want to quickly use your computer for something else without having it be too slow. Then, of course, like it says, if you click R, it will keep mining. And finally, if you click S, it will show you your results. I've just started this session, so there are no results yet. But your results give you a bit of an idea about how successful your mining is. And finally, I'm going to show you a real quick way to increase your mining rate. What you want to do is open your mining software folder, open config.json. Now that we've already been mining, it's going to have generated some extra config. Where it says CPU, scroll down until you see RX. This is the mining algorithm for Monero. Now inside these brackets, after 4, add comma, space, 6. What that does is it tells the mining software to use all 4 of your CPU's cores instead of only the 3. Now, of course, if you don't have 4 cores, this might not work, but it's not going to negatively affect your mining, so you might as well do this anyway. But if you do this, I do want to urge you, just be careful. When I mine on my laptop, my CPU can reach about 100 degrees, which I don't know how healthy that is. But if you're using an old computer and you're not worried about the CPU overheating, then why not? And there you go, guys. That's everything I wanted to show you on how to start mining on your own computer. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments for me, and I will do my best to help you with them. Leave a like on the video if you were able to do this for yourself, and happy mining.